All right, if you're running a CPA firm, you know the dream, right? Growth. But what happens when that growth actually starts to break things? When your processes just can't keep up? That's what we're diving into today, how to get out of that capacity crunch and build a real engine for strategic growth.
Man, this quote, it really hits home, doesn't it? For so many firm owners, this is the reality. On the surface, things look great. The client list is getting longer, revenue is climbing, but behind the scenes, your best people are just drowning. They're buried in routine work. It's that classic trap, right? Becoming a victim of your own success.
So, let me ask you, does that sound familiar at all? Is your team stuck spending way more time on compliance than on the high-value advisory work that really moves the needle? If you're nodding your head right now, stick around, because we're about to show you exactly how to fix this.
Okay, first up, let's decode this whole capacity crunch thing. Because, before you can solve a problem, you've got to understand what's really causing all that pressure in the first place.
And here's something really important to get. If you're feeling completely overloaded, you are not alone. This isn't some unique failing of your firm. The entire accounting industry is caught in a perfect storm right now. There are all these different factors squeezing firms from every direction, creating this pressure cooker environment where it feels almost impossible to keep up.
And you can see the forces at play right here. First off, compliance is just getting more and more complex, right? You've got new lease accounting standards, digital asset reporting. It's just layer after layer of new work. Then, at the same time, the talent pool of really experienced accountants, it's shrinking. And to top it all off, your clients expect everything faster than ever. Oh, and by the way, they also want more strategic advisory services, which of course your team has zero time to actually deliver. Sound about right?
So, what's the answer? What if you could add capacity, like right now, without going through the whole painful hiring process? Well, that brings us right into our next section, a modern outsourcing solution. This is what the really forward-thinking firms are doing.
Now, this is so important because we've got to talk about mindset. The old way of thinking about outsourcing, it's dead. People saw it as just a distant vendor, a cheap way to cut costs. The modern reality? It's a completely different ballgame. We're talking about a seamless extension of your own team, a strategic growth engine that proactively builds your capacity.
So what kinds of things are we talking about here? Well, think about the foundational, time-sucking work. Things like bank and credit card recs, bookkeeping, tax prep support, AP and AR, all that stuff. And let me be really clear, the point here is not to replace your amazing in-house team. Not at all. The goal is to empower them, to get this stuff off their plate so they can finally focus on high-level client strategy.
Okay, so the concept sounds great, but how does it actually work? How does smart outsourcing look in practice? Let's get into the nuts and bolts. And it all starts with something called the white label model.
This, right here, this is the magic key. The white label model is super simple. Your outsourcing partner works completely behind the scenes. They're like your secret back office team. So from your client's point of view, absolutely nothing changes. It's still your firm, your brand, your name on the report. The only thing they notice is that, wow, the service is faster and even smoother than before.
And you can see why firms absolutely love this. First, you protect your brand. You maintain that direct client relationship, which is everything. But behind the scenes, you gain this incredible flexibility. You can scale up for busy season, scale back down, reduce all that hiring pressure, and maybe most importantly, you free up partner bandwidth. It's literally growth without the growing pains.
Okay, but where do you start? This can seem like a big step. The smartest, lowest risk, highest impact place to begin is bank reconciliation. Seriously, it is the perfect pilot project. Why? Because it's repetitive, it's super detail heavy, and it's absolutely critical for accuracy. But it doesn't need a partner's eyes on it every second. It's a really safe and powerful first step.
And this chart just lays out the business case perfectly. Look, it's a repetitive task, right? Handing it off immediately frees up your people. It's detail heavy, which means you'll see fewer manual errors. It's a standardized process, so you get a faster month-end close. And because it's so foundational, you're way more prepared for audits. It's just a slam dunk, a quick win that proves this whole model works.
All right, moving on to section 4, implementation. Done. Right. Because look, the idea is powerful, but brilliant ideas can fail with bad execution. Success really truly hinges on doing it right and, most importantly, choosing the right partner.
And this is maybe the most important takeaway. You're not just buying a service here. You are not just hiring a vendor. You are building a relationship. The right partner feels like an extension of your own firm,
They integrate with your culture, your workflows. They operate with the exact same commitment to quality that you do.
So when you're out there looking at potential partners, treat this as your non-negotiable checklist. You have to ask, do they have serious process discipline and quality controls? Do they have real U.S. accounting and GAAP expertise? What about their data security framework? Is it rock solid? And this is huge. How's their communication? Are they responsive? And can they scale with you, especially for busy season? That's when you really find out who your true partners are.
And hey, let's talk about some common mistakes to avoid, because I see firms make these all the time. First, don't treat your outsourced team like a temp agency. You need a long-term mindset for this to really work. Second, you have to document your workflows. You can't just throw things over the wall. Also, don't try to boil the ocean. Start small, prove it works, and then expand. And please, do not choose a partner based on price alone. This is an investment in your firm's future, not a race to the bottom.
So, the path forward? It's actually pretty simple. And more importantly, low risk. Here's your roadmap. 1. Start with a pilot project. Like we said, bank recs are perfect. 2. Give them crystal clear SOPs and expectations. 3. Set up a weekly check-in. Communication is key. 4. Track the quality and turnaround time. And 5. Once you see those amazing results, you just expand gradually from there. Easy.
And all of this brings us to our final and most important section, building a smarter firm. Because that's the real goal here, isn't it? This isn't just about surviving the next busy season. This is about fundamentally rethinking your entire operating model for long-term sustainable success.
So when you look around the industry, here's the bottom line. The firms that are really pulling ahead today, they're not the ones just working harder. They're not burning out their best people. No, they're the ones building smarter, more resilient operating models. And a strategic approach to outsourcing is a core piece of that puzzle. It's what gives them the capacity to scale efficiently and finally, focus on what really matters: high-value client advisory and real strategic growth.
So that's really the question I want to leave you with today. As you think about the next quarter, the next year, are you just gearing up to work harder within the same old constraints? Or are you ready to start building a smarter model? One that turns capacity from your biggest headache into your greatest competitive advantage?